Everyone tells you to throw the cracked bowl away. Japan does the opposite. It fills the crack with gold, and that bowl becomes the most treasured thing in the house. Your home probably isn't too full. It's full of things you've quietly given up on. The chair you stopped sitting in, the coat with one loose button, the pan you replaced instead of saving. In the next few minutes, you'll learn 12 things a calm Japanese home never throws away, and exactly how to bring each one back to life. Number 7 is sitting in almost every kitchen right now. Number 10 is something you'd never expect to keep. And at the end, one quiet question that tells you in seconds whether anything you own is worth saving or worth letting go. Stay with it. There's an old idea woven through Japanese homes called Kanso, simplicity. Not empty rooms for their own sake, but keeping only what earns its place. Most decluttering advice has one answer for everything: throw it away. But a calmer tradition has understood something gentler for centuries. Letting go and throwing away are not the same thing. Throwing away is what you do out of guilt or haste. Letting go is a choice made with respect. So here's the whole idea, up front, no waiting. Before anything leaves your home, ask it one question. Would you mend it in gold? If you'd take the time to make it whole again, it stays, and you care for it. If you'd be quietly relieved to see it go, you've already let it go. Your home just hasn't caught up yet. Now let's earn it. 12 things a calm home repairs instead of replacing, each with how to actually do it. 3 quick ideas to hold on to. First, kintsugi. When a bowl breaks in Japan, a craftsman joins the pieces with lacquer and traces every crack in gold. The bowl isn't hidden for having broken, it's honored and worth more for it. Behind it sits wabi-sabi, the beauty of things imperfect, worn, and impermanent. It isn't an excuse to keep everything broken. It's the understanding that age and small flaws can carry beauty, and a thing doesn't lose its worth the moment it stops looking new. And third, mottainai, a quiet sense of regret at waste. Not hoarding, the opposite. Letting a useful thing die in a landfill is the real waste. Hold those together, and the list makes sense. What you love, you may mend. What still serves, you keep. What's truly finished, you release. So, what does a calm home refuse to throw away? 1. The cracked bowl or plate you reach for first. Not every chip is the end. For a clean break in something you love, a food-safe ceramic epoxy holds it for years. Or a simple kintsugi kit, lacquer dusted with gold-toned powder, turns one quiet evening into a repair you'll be proud of. If the crack runs where food sits, keep that piece for dry things. Nuts, tea, keys by the door. The test isn't whether it's perfect, it's whether you still reach for it. 2. The good knife, the rusted pan, the loose-handled tool. In Japan, a blunt knife isn't replaced. It's drawn across a wet whetstone at a low angle until it's keen again. A rusted pan is scoured and re-seasoned with a thin film of oil over heat. A loose wooden handle is re-glued and wrapped tight. One good tool, cared for, outlives a drawer of cheap ones. And if your home is full, with kids and a busy life, that matters more, not less. 3. Solid wood furniture gone dry or scratched. Here's how. Rub a little oil, even plain cutting board oil, into the gray, thirsty wood, and watch it come back to life. A scratch sands out with fine paper. A wobble usually means one screw to tighten, or a dab of wood glue in a loose joint clamped overnight. A new flat-pack shelf has no story. The one you mend does. 4. Clothes and cloth with a small tear. Japan gave the world sashiko and boro, mending fabric with simple running stitches, often in a contrasting thread so the repair shows without shame. You don't need skill. A needle, a length of thread, 10 minutes of small, even stitches across the tear. If you'd wear it again whole, that's worth 10 minutes, not a trip to the store. 5. Worn shoes and leather. Good leather is made to be repaired. A scuff lifts with a little polish or a leather balm worked in with a cloth. A worn-down heel or sole is a quick, cheap job for a cobbler, far less than new boots. Leather that's cared for softens and deepens with the years. Replaced, it never gets the chance. 6. The worn textiles you've stopped using but still love. Before a soft old robe or a thinning towel becomes rubbish, ask if it has a second life. An old yukata becomes a furoshiki, a cloth for wrapping and carrying. A worn towel, cut and hemmed, becomes the rag that keeps everything else clean. Notice the pattern in all 6. A few minutes and a few dollars against a thing you already own and already trust. 7. The wobbly chair and the drawer in your kitchen that sticks. The everyday things you've quietly started avoiding. A chair that rocks usually needs its joints re-glued and clamped. An afternoon, almost no money. A drawer that sticks glides again with a rub of candle wax or a bar of soap along the runners. Fixing the small daily frictions is what actually makes a home feel calm, more than any new purchase. 8. The few manuals and papers you'll genuinely need again. Most decluttering advice tells you to shred it all, but the warranty for the thing that breaks, the manual you can't find online when the power is out, keep those few in one thin folder and let the rest go. A calm home isn't paper-free, it's clear about which paper earns its place. 9. The book you genuinely return to. Not the tower of unread ones. The Japanese even have a word for that, tsundoku, the books we buy and never open. Let those go to someone who'll read them. But the book you underline, lend, and reach for again is not clutter. It's a friend you visit, so keep it. 10. The broken heirloom you were about to give up on. The watch that stopped, the cup from someone who's gone, the chair from a grandparent. This is the one you'd never expect to keep, and exactly the one worth mending. A repair here isn't really about the object, it's kintsugi for a memory. The gold seam says this mattered enough to make whole again. 11. The thing that still works, but just looks old. The kettle with a little tarnish, the table with rings on it, the jacket gone soft at the cuffs. Nothing is broken. You were only tempted to replace it for a newer-looking one. That's wabi-sabi. The marks of use aren't damage, they're proof of a life lived around it. Patina is not a flaw to buy your way out of. 12. The one that changes all the others, the habit of fixing itself. A little glue, a little wax, a needle, a tin of polish, a bottle of oil, the whole kit fits in one small drawer. Keep that drawer, and you stop needing the store for 100 small things. The most frugal thing in the house isn't a gadget, it's the quiet habit of repair. Now, the honest other half. Mending is not hoarding. A calm home also lets go, clearly and kindly, and the line between the two is love. So, 3 things even a repairer releases. First, the broken thing you keep only out of guilt. The appliance you've meant to fix for 3 years. The single shoe with no pair. The honest. If you were going to mend it, you would have by now. You don't love it, you only feel guilty, so pass it to someone who will, or let it go. Second, the just-in-case duplicates. The third spatula, the spare of the spare. This is Dan Shari, letting go in 3 quiet steps. Refuse what you don't need, release what you don't use, and step away from the urge to own more for its own sake. Keep one good one and trust it. Third, the thing you keep only to impress. There's a word for that. Me, living for appearances. Choosing things for the person who might see them rather than the life you actually live. Releasing what you don't love isn't failure, it's honesty about the life you're living and respect for the object by passing it to someone who'll use it. A home isn't lighter because it's emptier, it's lighter because everything left in it is wanted. So here's the reset test, the one you were promised. Pick up anything you're unsure about and ask 2 quiet questions. 1. When you hold it, do you feel a small relief or a small pang of guilt? Relief means it still belongs. Guilt means you let go a while ago. The object just hasn't left yet. 2. Would you mend it in gold? If you take an evening to make it whole, keep it and care for it this week. If you wouldn't, you have your answer, and you can release it with thanks. That's the whole practice. Not throw everything out, not keep everything either. Mend what you'd gild, release what you only store. One more thing, where this all comes from. The story goes that centuries ago, a ruler sent a broken tea bowl away to be fixed, and it came back stapled with ugly metal cramps. Japanese craftsmen decided there had to be a way to mend that honored the wound instead of hiding it. Gold was their answer. 500 years later, that's still the whole idea. A thing made whole again can be more beautiful for having been broken. And what's left when you mend what matters and release the rest? Space. The Japanese call it ma, the meaningful emptiness that lets what remains be seen. A bowl repaired in gold only shines because of the quiet space around it. Empty space isn't nothing. It's a luxury a calm home keeps on purpose. So, in one breath, a calm home doesn't throw everything away, and it doesn't keep everything either. It mends what it loves: the bowl, the wood, the cloth, the tool, the book, the memory. It releases what it only stores out of guilt, and it treasures the space that's left. You don't need to repair your whole life this weekend. Pick one thing tonight and ask it, would you mend it in gold? Then mend it, or let it go with thanks. Tell us in the comments, what's the one thing you'd repair instead of replace? We read every one. The full list is pinned below, so you can save it. If a calmer, gentler home sounds good, stay a while with this almanac of Japanese habits. Own less, mend what you love, live with Kanso.